One Inspiring Woman, and today I am on location in Galveston, Texas at the old City Cemetery right off of Broadway, having a great time talking to ghosts. So the ghosts behind me are so excited to be talking to us. I think the older ones that have been here for a while love talking to us. So several in this area have been very active, and of course you can see all the beautiful wildflowers, so they are super active. So I'm being drawn to this one back in this area, and I feel like he's in a military uniform. I almost feel like Army. It kind of the way it looks is kind of like an Army uniform. I feel like he fought in like World War I is the way the uniform looks to me. He tells me he made it back alive, but then something happened to him a few years later and he got sick and passed away. And he's told me like consumption, because I can feel it like in my throat and my like glands all swollen here and then into my chest, and just kind of like feeling very heavy chested, like when you have the flu or something like that, where it's really heavy, or pneumonia in your lungs. So he's pulling my energy right there, and so kind of really talking about it, just enjoying the energy. He loves the sun, and when he was sick, they would push him out on the front porch in a chair, kind of like a wheelchair, and push him out front, and so he could get some sun on him, because they were always talking about like the sunlight and the vitamins that you would get from the sunlight. So he's often excited when we've had rain for the last few days, and now it's not raining, so he's super excited about that. I feel him. I also feel like far back in the corner, the name Wells is on there, and I feel like kind of his energy comes in with this energy of like he was well known when he was here. He had lots of friends, lots of family on the island, and then when probably kind of like after World War II is when his family more or less left the island. They were deciding to move, and I kind of feel like they moved towards the Dallas area. There are a few family members that are here buried, but most of them all kind of like, you know, migrated up to Dallas after World War II. There was a couple of factories up in that area that were hiring, and so they were going up there to kind of make their fortune and kind of make some money in that area. So Wells is coming through as well. Kind of their energy, if you can watch for a little bit, I know the flowers are distracting because they're like waving in the wind, but that's what the beautiful part is. So their energy is all about being here, being part of Galveston, and kind of just feeling so connected to this land. Like I said, Wells is going back and showing me like when the City Cemetery first started, it was probably only half the size, and then they shortly realized like they needed to expand it. So it's kind of like it was only half the size, and then they expanded it and kind of like pushed it into some other areas to kind of take over some area, because there were too many people that needed in. So that's kind of the fun part about it. Kind of further back, and she's walking towards me. She looks like an old nurse, probably from early 1900s. So kind of dressed with the old kind of like the paper kind of fabric hat kind of looking thing, really stiff. I guess that's why it looks like a hat, like paper. But she's walking this direction, and she tells me that she was like a delivered babies, midwife, and would go into people's homes and deliver the babies and stay there usually for a few hours afterwards to kind of make sure mom and baby were doing well. But that was very common during that time frame. And like I said, she looks like early 1900s, but she was in her 60s or so when she passed. So she was here for quite a while. She was born on the island shortly after her parents got here on a big ship. And then they stayed in this area because they just loved the energy and the beach and staying here. So she was a nurse for many years, late 1800s to early 1900s, and really enjoyed the island. So that's kind of fun. Let's see what else we've got. There is a priest or a pastor back off over here, kind of like where I'm at. I'm going to swing to the other side, kind of off in this area over here, that is coming through. And he's got the collar on, so he's got the collar here. He's telling me he passed during World War II, but he did not pass in the war. He was not part of fighting or anything else. I feel like he was in an accident at some point, helping someone out, and something happened, and he like it ripped open part of his leg, and he bled to death very quickly, kind of like, I guess, nicked the arteries or something like that. So he is back in this area over there and kind of coming for him. Oh, come on. And he says his name is Father John. and Kilpatrick, I think. Kilpatrick is what I'm hearing. So off in that area, and so he is a great energy and loves to connect to all the energies that are here, kind of enjoying that part of it and enjoying what's going on. I feel like everybody's really enjoying their, like I said, it's a sunny day after several days of kind of like cloud cover and rain. So a lot of the ghosts are really active today because it's kind of like the storm last night kind of cleared a lot of that crazy rain out and the storm cloud. So it's a beautiful day. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's like the perfect day in Texas. So that's kind of the energy here. The fathers told me that I feel like he was like raised something, and then he became a father in a different, like, so maybe he was raised Baptist, I kind of feel like, and then he became a Catholic priest at some point. He did not marry, he did not have any children here, but like I said, passed like 1944 or so, like I said, from an injury to his leg. Very sweet guy, very sweet. Feel another energy kind of coming up from like this lower area, kind of where we're at. I'm going to switch to the other side, kind of in this general area. Now these are really, really old. It looks like past date is like 1872. Can't see a name. It's one of those, like, it's really old and it's really hard to read. But I do feel like a female Caroline. Yep, Caroline. And Caroline passed away 1872. She was not young when she passed, and probably about 40 something years old or so, and so she's buried here. Her husband is near her but not next to her, so I don't know if it's like this is her son and then the husband's like one or two over or something like that, or this is the husband. The husband's close by but not right next to her. Her son is next to her, and he passed in 1868. So kind of a fun energy with that she's right next to her son, and then I think this is for her husband here. Her husband, family had a lot of money. They were kind of like the old Galveston money energy, and really came around. I'm trying to see if I can get their last name. It looks like Neighbor. But a sweet energy. She is telling about like when she passed, like her son was there, her husband was there, and she passed first. I do feel like there was some medical issues going on with her because I feel a lot of heaviness in the back of my lungs, so it could be like pneumonia or something like that. But she says she had a great life, loved her husband, enjoyed being on the island, enjoyed being part of what's going on here, and really just enjoyed the energy here and all of the parties and all of the events that they would go to. It's kind of the fun part for her, like just kind of dressing up and going places. So that's kind of, she is telling me that, I'm trying to explain, like the way she's explaining this to me is that her husband had a child after she was passed. So he must have had like an affair with the maid or something like that. This child is like half and half, half white, half black mixture. Very sweet boy, and he's buried with his mom. And she was okay with her husband having the affair, like after she had passed. He was still relatively young and still needed someone to be there for him and kind of help and help around. So she was okay with him getting remarried. I was like, oh, that's so grown up of you. I'm so excited. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.